Hello, I'm Natasha, and I'm so glad to have you here today. If you've ever found yourself completely lost when listening to native English speakers, don't worry, you're not alone. Maybe you've studied English grammar, learned thousands of words, watched TV shows and movies in English, and still, when a native speaker talks at their normal speed, it feels like a blur. You hear words, but they slip away. You try to focus, but it all sounds too fast, too casual, or even mumbled. Why does this happen? And more importantly, how can you fix it? Today, we're going to take a deep dive into this problem and explore some of the most common reasons why even advanced learners struggle to understand native English speakers. But don't worry, we're not just going to talk about the problems. I'll be guiding you through simple, practical strategies to train your ears, improve your listening skills, and become more confident in understanding real English as it's spoken every day. We'll also do some exercises and real-life examples along the way, so make sure you stay till the end and practice with me. Let's get started and uncover what's really going on when you can't catch what native speakers are saying. One of the biggest reasons why learners can't understand native English speakers is because the way English is spoken in real life is very different from the way it's written in textbooks or taught in the classroom. Native speakers often speak fast, connect their words, use contractions, reduce sounds, and drop certain syllables altogether. This makes their speech sound like a stream of blended sounds rather than clear individual words. For example, instead of saying, "What are you doing?" a native speaker might say, "What you doin'?" And instead of saying, "I am going to let her know," they might say, "I'm gonna let her know." If you're not used to this, it can be very difficult to follow what's being said. Many English learners make the mistake of only learning the dictionary form of words, or very clear and formal sentences. That's helpful for exams, but not for real-life conversations. Think about the last time you watched a movie or listened to a podcast in English. Did you catch every word? Or did you feel like everything was too fast or too unclear? This is where listening practice in real context becomes very important. You need to expose yourself to the rhythm, tone, and pace of real conversations, not just slow, clear recordings made for learners. Let's do a small practice exercise now. I will speak a sentence in the way native speakers often say it, and you try to guess the original or full form of the sentence. Are you ready? Here's the first one. Gonna grab some coffee. Did you catch that? The full sentence would be, I'm going to grab some coffee. Here's another. Wanna come with me? That would be, do you want to come with me? And how about this one? Let me check. That means, let me check. You see how different the spoken form sounds from what you might read in a textbook? This is the kind of practice that helps you recognize common patterns and real spoken English. Another reason you may struggle with understanding native speakers is vocabulary overload or unfamiliar phrases. Native speakers use idioms, slang, phrasal verbs, and cultural expressions that aren't always taught in language courses. If you hear someone say, I'm beat, you may not understand they mean I'm tired. Or when someone says, that movie was a letdown, you may not realize they mean it was disappointing. The more familiar you become with these kinds of phrases, the easier it will be to follow conversations. Let's look at a few more examples. Imagine someone says, I'm just going to chill today. That means, I'm just going to relax today. Or if someone says, he bailed on the meeting, they mean he didn't show up or canceled last minute. The key is not just to learn new vocabulary, but to learn how it's actually used in real conversation. Here's a short practice you can repeat after me to train your ear to hear connected speech. I'll say the sentence in a slow, clear way first, and then the way a native speaker might say it. Try to repeat both and notice the difference. First sentence, do you want to go to the store? Now the native version, do you want to go to the store? Repeat it with me. Next, what are you doing later? Native version, what you doing later? Repeat it. One more, I have to get some work done. Native version, I have to get some work done. This kind of shadowing practice will help your brain get used to the rhythm and flow of natural English. Now, let's talk about another important reason why it's hard to understand native English speakers. Your brain is not yet trained to process English sounds fast enough. When you're listening in your native language, your brain automatically catches sounds, patterns, and meaning without you having to think. But with English, especially if you're not surrounded by it every day, your brain has to work harder. It has to decode the sounds, figure out the grammar, remember vocabulary, and understand the context, all in real time. That's a lot of pressure, and it slows down your comprehension. This is why it often feels like you understand better when reading English than when listening. Reading gives you time, but listening requires instant understanding. The only way to improve is to train your brain like a muscle, with frequent and focused listening practice. One effective way to train your listening is through daily shadowing practice. Shadowing means repeating what you hear. Immediately after you hear it, choose a short clip of a native speaker speaking naturally. Play one sentence, pause it, and repeat it exactly as you heard it. Focus not just on the words, but also on the pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Over time, this will help your brain recognize native patterns faster and more accurately. You don't need a long video to practice. Even 5 minutes a day is enough if you do it consistently. Try using clips from interviews, vlogs, or podcasts that are not scripted or overly formal. Let's do another short exercise together. I'll give you a few native phrases, and I want you to repeat them exactly as I say them. Focus on the sound, not the spelling. Ready? First, could have told you that. That means, I could have told you that. Now repeat, could have told you that. Next, shouldn't have said that. The full sentence is, I shouldn't have said that. Now try, shouldn't have said that. Another one, I don't know. That's short for I don't know. Repeat, I don't know. Excellent. You're doing great. It's also helpful to expose yourself to different accents. English is spoken differently in America, the UK, Australia, Canada, and many other countries. Even within one country, accents can vary a lot. Sometimes, learners become used to only one accent, usually American or British English, and then struggle when they hear a different version. For example, the word water might be pronounced as water in American English, wa-too in British English, and even wo-oh in some fast casual speech. The more you listen to various English speakers, the more flexible your ear becomes. Another tip is to listen without subtitles sometimes. Subtitles can be helpful, but if you always rely on them, your brain doesn't learn to process spoken English on its own. Try watching a short scene with subtitles first, then rewatch it without them. Or better yet, listen to audio-only formats like podcasts or audiobooks. Focus on catching the main idea, not every word. Real understanding comes from context. Even native speakers don't hear every word clearly all the time, but they still understand because they use context, tone, and familiarity with expressions. You can train yourself to do the same. Let's do a comprehension practice now. I'll tell you a short story, and then I'll ask you some questions. Try to listen carefully and understand the main idea. Here we go. Yesterday, I was walking down the street when I bumped into an old friend I hadn't seen in years. We decided to grab coffee at a nearby cafe. We talked for hours about life, work, and memories from school. It felt like no time had passed at all. Now, who did I meet? What did we do? What did we talk about? Try to answer, without looking back. This is how you train your brain to catch meaning in real time. Now that you understand why native English can sound so difficult, let's talk about how you can change your approach to make faster progress. One key idea is to stop translating everything into your native language. This habit slows down your brain and creates a gap between what you hear and what you understand. Instead, try to think in English as much as possible. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but even small steps can help. For example, when you see something in your home, say its name in English in your mind. When you're doing something simple like brushing your teeth, think, I'm brushing my teeth now. This may seem small, but it builds the habit of using English directly in your brain, which helps a lot when you're listening to real conversations. You can also improve your understanding by focusing on listening for meaning, not individual words. Native speakers don't always pronounce each word clearly, but the overall meaning is still there. Let's say someone says, he's been working like crazy lately. You may not catch every word perfectly, but you can understand from the tone and keywords that the person is working very hard. Don't worry if you miss small words. Try to catch the big picture. Let's practice with another short conversation. Listen carefully, and then try to explain what happened. Here it is. A. Hey, you coming to the party tonight? B. Can't. Got tons of work. Maybe next time. Now, what do you understand from that? Person A is inviting someone to a party. Person B says they can't come because they have a lot of work. Even though the second person didn't use full sentences like, I cannot come because I have a lot of work, the meaning is still clear. This is how native speakers talk. They skip extra words, but the message is still there. Training your ear to understand these shortened responses is very important. Another useful habit is to listen and repeat, then record yourself and compare it. Let's do a quick speaking and listening practice. I'll say a sentence in casual native style, and you try to say it just like me. Then, if you can, record yourself and listen to how close your version is. First, I'll get back to you. Try repeating that now. Next, you want to hang out later? Say it naturally. Another, I've been super busy. Repeat it now. When you do this regularly, you'll begin to hear the differences in how native speech flows, and your own listening skills will improve along with your speaking. Also, don't worry too much about perfect pronunciation when you're practicing listening. The goal is not to sound like a native speaker, it's to understand them. With time, your pronunciation will improve naturally. But first, focus on tuning your ears. If you live in a non-English speaking country, you can still surround yourself with English through podcasts, music, YouTube videos, and audiobooks. Choose topics that interest you. If you enjoy sports, watch sports commentary. If you like cooking, follow English cooking channels. The more interested you are in the content, the more likely you'll pay attention and absorb the language. Let's do one last listening activity. I'll describe a short routine in natural speed. Listen and then tell yourself what I did. This morning, I hit snooze a couple of times before finally getting up. I grabbed some toast, skipped coffee because I was late, and ran to catch the bus. Luckily, I made it just in time. What happened here? I woke up late, ate quickly, and rushed to catch the bus. If you got that, you're already training your brain well. Let's keep going. Let's now focus more on the rhythm and music of English. Every language has its own natural rhythm, and English is a stress-timed language. That means some words are stressed more strongly than others, and the time between stressed words tends to stay consistent. Native speakers don't say every word at the same speed or volume. They stress content words like nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, while reducing or swallowing function words like articles, prepositions, and auxiliary verbs. If you're used to stressing every word equally, English will sound very strange and difficult to follow. But when you start hearing and using this rhythm, you'll begin to understand native speech more easily. Let's do a small rhythm practice. I'll give you a sentence, and I want you to listen to the stress pattern and repeat it with me. First sentence: I really like your new jacket. Now listen again. I really like your new jacket. The stressed words are really, like, new, and jacket. Try saying it with that rhythm. Next sentence: she's been working on that project all day. The stress is on been, working, project, and day. When you practice this way, you train your ear to notice what native speakers naturally emphasize. This helps you catch meaning, even if you miss some of the smaller words. You can also improve your listening by learning to predict what comes next in a sentence. This is called contextual prediction. Native speakers do it all the time. For example, if someone says, I'm going to the, your brain automatically starts guessing what could follow: store, gym, office, mall. Your brain fills in the possible endings based on the situation. This helps you stay ahead and follow conversations more easily. Practicing this skill makes it easier to listen in real time without getting stuck on every word. Let's try this together. I'll give you the beginning of a sentence, and you guess what could come next. Ready? He didn't call me because... What are some possible endings? He was busy. He forgot. His phone died. Good. Next one. I'll meet you after. Could be work, lunch, class. Your brain learns to fill in these gaps quickly, with practice. This also helps you stay more relaxed while listening, which is important because anxiety can make it harder to focus. Speaking of relaxation, many learners don't realize that stress and nervousness can block your listening skills. If you're worried about understanding every word, you become tense, and that tension reduces your ability to process sounds quickly. So try to relax. Remind yourself that even native speakers don't always catch everything. It's okay to miss a word or two. Focus on the meaning and the mood of the speaker. Are they happy? Angry? Tired? That emotion helps you understand the message, even if some words are unclear. Let's do a listening and guessing practice. I'll read a sentence quickly and casually, and you guess the full meaning. First, can you grab it for me? That means, can you pick that thing up for me? Next, I'll be there in CC. That means, I will arrive very soon, in a second. Another one. Don't worry about it. That means, don't worry about it, it's fine. Keep listening for phrases like these, in real-life English. Write them down and practice saying them aloud. The more you get used to casual speech, the more confident you'll become. You're doing a great job so far. Remember, understanding native English is not about being perfect. It's about practice, patterns, and patience. Keep working with real English, and you'll start seeing results in your listening ability very soon. Now, as we wrap up, let's talk about how you can create a daily routine to improve your listening and understanding of native English. Like any skill, progress depends on consistency. Even if you spend just 15 to 20 minutes a day on focused listening, you'll start noticing improvements within a few weeks. The key is to choose real, natural English sources. This means movies, interviews, podcasts, YouTube videos, and conversations where people speak the way they do in real life, not the way they speak in scripted lessons. When you choose a piece of audio or video to practice with, use it actively, not passively. Don't just play it in the background. Sit down with a notebook or app. Listen to a short part, just 10 to 20 seconds, and write down what you hear. If you miss something, rewind and listen again. Check the subtitles if needed. Then, try to say the sentence out loud. Repeat it several times until your mouth and ears both feel comfortable with the flow. This may feel slow at first, but it's one of the fastest ways to build natural listening ability. Let's do one final shadowing exercise together. I'll say a sentence casually, then repeat it slowly, and you try to shadow both versions. First casual version. Want to grab lunch later? Now slower. Do you want to grab lunch later? Repeat both with me. Again. Can't believe it's already Friday. Slower. I cannot believe it is already Friday. Try saying that smoothly. Another one. He's gonna help us out. Slower. He is going to help us out. Notice how the sounds link, and reduce in casual speech. Practicing this way improves both listening and speaking naturally. Another good tip is to record your progress. Once a week, record yourself speaking English about your day or retelling a story you heard in English. Then, listen to native content and compare your rhythm and pronunciation. You'll begin to hear what's different and where you can improve. You don't need a teacher for everything. Your ears and your own voice are powerful tools for learning. Let me share a quick story of a learner named Zara. She had been studying English for 5 years and could read and write very well. But whenever she watched a movie or tried to speak with a native speaker, she felt lost. So, she decided to change her method. Every morning, she listened to a 2-minute podcast from a native speaker. She listened to the same clip 3 times. First, just to hear. Second, to write down what she heard. And third, to repeat it aloud. After just 1 month, she said she started catching phrases that used to fly over her head. She even understood jokes in English for the first time. That's how powerful focused listening can be. So as we come to the end of today's lesson, let's review quickly. You can't understand native speakers easily because they speak fast, connect words, reduce sounds, use idioms, and speak with rhythm and flow that's not taught in most textbooks. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. You just need to train your ear, practice with real materials, stop translating everything, and stay consistent. Practice daily, even if it's only 10 minutes. Shadow sentences, repeat native phrases, record yourself. Relax and enjoy the journey. Thank you so much for learning with me today. I hope this session helped you feel more confident about listening to native English. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, don't forget to subscribe to English in Minutes for more helpful English lessons every week. Your support means a lot and helps us keep bringing you more learning content. Keep practicing, stay patient, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and keep listening to Real English every day. Bye for now.